Security Halt Podcast. Simple podcast for dudes, by dudes, but not for by dudes, just especially veterans. Security Halt, you take a knee, face out, sit down for a little bit, and chill out, listen to us, Cab, Paul, and Greg, say some really stupid shit that'll make you laugh and smile. Security Halt, it's what your doctor ordered, or gynecologist, or perhaps the doctor that looks at your beehole.
One rule, it's mimosas by 11. Only one rule, mimosas by 11.
That's the single greatest thing you've ever said, and I would even say it's the brave.
Like, this is probably gonna be some horseshit propaganda for China. The news is like, hey, for some reason people think this is horseshit propaganda for China.
It's a valid point, Paul, but where else are people going to get riveting content and a consistent list of kill, marry, and fuck? I mean, no one's doing it, and someone has to provide it for the people. And that someone is us, Security Halt Podcast. Can we just start the show? Because I've got a major case of diarrhea. Welcome to Security Halt Podcast, episode 007. The Mackening. Mac is back. The whack is a Mac. The MACKITY MAC, Mac. The Big Mac himself is here. What am I rambling about? One of the most influential senior NCOs that I had the pleasure of working with for a majority of my time in 82nd. At the time, it was Sergeant First Class. Michael McKenzie, he's now retired First Sergeant Michael McKenzie. Paul, Greg, and myself all love Mac. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, on this episode, we could not stick to an agenda. This is literally us fanboying over one of the most influential leaders we had in our military career. Mac is honest. He talks about transitioning out of service. It's just a true soldier's NCO. So please enjoy episode 007, The Mackening, Return of the Mac, the MACKITY Mac, Mac. Oh, God, Porkins. The Tale of Porkins. That's the story I want to see from like start to finish. Like he was jacked. He was like a wrestler in a Galactic League. And then he got injured, and like the only thing he could do was still fly really good. So he just ate his feelings for years.
I say we make it a lot more realistic. So instead, he was like this really smoked guy. He got to his unit, and he was really strong and good. And then he like rolled his ankle in Ranger School, and everybody was like, "You're a piece of fucking shit. Like you'll never make it in the military now." And he's like, "But look at all the good stuff I did." They're like, "That doesn't matter." And then he couldn't run anymore.
That doesn't fucking matter.
Like, "You're a fucking turd."
So he gets booted out of
got kicked out of Ranger School. What a loser.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of Intergalactic Ranger School? What a piece of shit.
Yeah. It's not even like Army Ranger School. It's just whatever, like Space Rangers, like fucking Bugs Lightyear type shit. Because Disney owns it all, so it's got to be canon now. Space Rangers and fucking Star Wars.
Well, yeah, shit. Disney owns everything, so.
Yeah.
The best part is he gets out of service. Then, in the height of the war, they're like, "Hey, you ever thought about joining the Rebellion Air National Guard?" He's like, "All right, that seems to be my speed."
I can probably get college, and I'll never deploy. Oh, we'll never use you guys. Okay, cool.
Oh, we'll never use you. Shit! Call up the intergalactic air guard.
Hey, we got a mission for you guys. It's nothing big, but we need you to fly to this moon. Okay, as they're flying in, some old fuckers like, that's no moon, and they're like, what?
It's a space station.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our story for today. The Tale of Porkins.
Oh, pork rinds.
I can't wait. People are gonna line up to fucking get tickets to this movie.
Well, I mean,
Here we
people
get
did,
Chris Nolan to direct.
hey, people did pay $30 to watch a new Mulan movie. I mean, propaganda for China.
I didn't, and I was like, this is probably going to be some horseshit propaganda for China. And the news is like, hey, for some reason, people think this is horseshit propaganda for China.
They really, really went against the Mongolians in that one, too.
And it's like, before you guys all hate the Mongolians, realize Genghis Khan is in 90% of all y'all's DNA anyway. So,
Well, that's what
Genghis
happens when
Khan
you're
was
good at propagating.
everybody's daddy. Yeah.
He really enjoyed raising children. Just a great father, from what I hear.
He was.
He liked raising cities and raising children.
Yep, that was his hobbies. It's actually on his headstone. Actually,
Here lies Genghis Khan. He loved to fuck. Oh my God. He changed the climate of the world.
He too got sucked in the black hole that is Afghanistan.
Yep. Well, hey, that's where empires go to die, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at us now.
Yeah.
Hey, Russia was there.
Oh wow, everybody got quiet on that one.
Because it's true. We're all like, yep.
Yeah.
It's so
Yep,
true.
Yep. The shaking of the veteran heads. Yes.
Yes.
I can't remember whose words it was, but it was like the fucking general from Vietnam, and it was like, you just have to kill them until they lose the heart to fight. And they're like, yeah, you didn't. And he's like, obviously, we didn't kill enough of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of where we were. America was like, yeah, hit them where it hurts.
Sir.
And then they're like, wait, dial it back. That's way too rough. And you're like, you guys know what killing is, right? Like, you know, this shit isn't pretty, right? Like,
No. We didn't mean that. I'm like, well, that's literally what we said we were gonna do. Yeah, no. Like, dial it back a bit. I'm like, well, we can't.
Like, bomb them nicely. Like, drop good stuff on them that doesn't hurt. Like, what the fuck do you want?
Like rainbow bombs. Rainbow bombs. I'm just gonna drop some rainbow bombs.
You guys remember the bomblets that looked like MREs or food packages?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, that was good. Hey, I wonder if this one has peanut butter.
Boom!
Fuck, now I have no arm and no peanut butter. I'm definitely fucked.
This tastes shit.
Why did they eat this?
In Afghanistan, we were pulling security for the elections, and I saw and encouraged a young man to eat an MRE heater that he pulled out of the trash.
He's just looking at you. Eat this? Yes.
You're like, yeah, do it. Like, I remember I was like, hey, get out of there. And then he was all smiling and giggly and picking up stuff. I'm like, get out of there. We weren't supposed to like shoot at him, so I couldn't do anything effective. And he's just like showing me like,
such a humanitarian.
Yeah, dude. And then he's looking at me like, I'm gonna eat this, and I was like, oh no, don't eat.
Better not.
Like, oh, that's yummy. And then he started munching on it and looked at me all sad. And I just was like, whatever. Not my problem, fucko.
Enjoy phosphorus, asshole.
Yeah, dude. Acid indigestion.
So in my mind, this is playing out perfectly. He just stops ever so slowly from chewing on it, looking at you for approval. You're like, fuck it, yes. Like, yes.
Yeah. Mister, give me pen. Get the fuck away from me.
You
don't even know how to write.
Because this is the spicy. Well, yeah, then it's like, I remember my mom hearing that on the news, hey, they want pens and pencils. And it was like, I don't know why, but okay. So she's like, I'm going to send these pencils. Then like 3 weeks later, it was like, oh yeah, they're using pens and pencils to make blasting caps. And I'm like, don't send that shit over here.
Thanks, Mom.
They're telling
Thanks
the
for
U.S. like,
contributing to the
we
Taliban.
really need some fertilizer. Can you guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's send them fertilizer.
That's the best thing
For some
though.
reason, they want fertilizer and diesel fuel. They must be starting a farm.
Dude, The ingenuity, though. Think the ingenuity and the way they went about attacking us in Iraq, specifically Iraq with like IEDs. Like, holy shit! Like, if we were having to fight an invasion on our home turf, none of our kids in this age and age would be doing anything remotely like that. They'd just be at home doing whatever the TikTok bots would tell them to do. They'd be like, hey, how about you go out there and, fight for your country? No, TikTok says I need a dance today. More dance.
Or the ones you got that were semi-smart, they'd like look up on Google and they'd be like, how do I make? Now, let me say this, and I just want to get this full thought out, just to kind of let it set, not to be political, but like the Afghans asking for stuff they would use against us would be like almost like if the CIA went to a country to train the military and like we sent them stuff and the CIA stood up a military that was in fact feeding another military in another country we occupied that was turning around using the same weaponry to attack us in that country.
Oh God, that's happened. That has so never happened ever before.
That's literally happened a lot.
Afghanistan, Panama.
ISIS.
Yeah, no, what? We did not make ISIS. Okay, we did.
Okay, like my question was,
and the Muslim Brotherhood.
All right, let's hypothetically say the CIA was arming militants in Syria that were coming and attacking Iraqis that our special forces were supporting. Are we fighting ourselves at that point? Can I say that? Or is it just the military is fighting the CIA? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Greg, are you with us now?
We would never do such a thing.
I am.
Greg's on.
Hey, what if you're trying to clear air? Like, hey, can I get a Spectre? We're using it. What are you going to use it for? I can't tell you.
Don't worry, guys. But you might want to get.
How did we fuck that? How did we fuck that country up so bad that we're going to bring freedom, we're going to bring this, we're also going to teach you how to plead the fifth. There's shit that I would have left out. Everybody has a voice. Take that out of there. I got basic human rights. Take that shit out of there,
dude. This is
you can't hit me fuck. Why did we teach him that?
That's another thing. This is actually one of the things that I used to talk about when we were talking about strategic planning and stuff in MLC when I was an instructor. Is you can't impose we fucking photocopy the Constitution and then hand it to a translator and we're like, all right, translate that now. Okay, this is your Constitution, country we just took over. It's
exactly
that only works for you have to think about the populace. And I would always go into Sharia law because that's where we spent fucking forever operating in countries with Sharia law, and we're like, does that work here? Unless you're in Dearborn, Michigan, and they're like, no. And I was like, then why in the hell are you going to bring that to another country and then wonder why it doesn't fucking work?
Yeah. Greg and I actually have a summer home in Dearborn, Michigan. It's lovely.
Oh, it's lovely. I bet. It's call a prayer 5 times a day. Awesome.
We feel it's very accepting to our unique relationship.
Oh yeah, because
one rule. It's mimosas by 11.
Greg paints his hair red and gets the little teapot and just goes,
oh, he's the talk of the town in Dearborn.
Oh, I bet he's very popular.
Belle of the ball. Oh, so now I gotta mark the actual beginning of the podcast.
So we'll keep that first part.
Welcome to Security Hub Podcast. Episode to be titled "The Mackening: Return of the Mac." Mac and me. That's my favorite. Let's. In fact, I'm devoting today's Geek Out moment to the cinema masterpiece that is Mac and Me.
Mac and Me.
Oh. That googly motherfucking alien.
It's like E.T. if he was on welfare. He's just eating intergalactic government cheese the entire movie.
And his family looks like it too. I mean, there's not much difference between his body composition and mine when I was a poor welfare kid back in the day. We looked identical. Government cheese is really bad.
Me too. Distended stomach, just
bulging eyes.
Yeah.
I love how they don't really explain anything in depth. They just kind of make it seem like a magical moment how his alien family gets sucked into a machine.
What, that hasn't happened to your alien family? I mean,
I know a place where they take alien families and put them in cages, but
yeah, I heard something about that on the news. I think when I was flipping through.
All right, remark editing point. No, so I've been watching a lot of YouTube like history of cinema stuff, and and I like a lot of those crap movies that came out in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like the knockoff, Escape from LA. I'm like, what happened to those movies? So I'm learning a lot about exploitation films, which is, something I never understood. And at one point, they're like, people like exploitations because it's literally a guy in Italy going, let's make that movie they just made in America, but crappier and make $5 million. And you're like, oh, that was the agenda? Like, so when you're like, why wasn't this really hashed out? Because there was no hashing out. It's like, how do we make Star Wars, but it'll be a big block instead of a sphere of a space station? And instead of Wookiees, they'll just look like dogs. Like, I was like, dang, man, like, that's awesome.
I love that. I think we need to do that more often.
The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, one of the best all around.
Holy shit! Yes,
friggin' exploitation movies. I mean,
the stupid thing
John
is the big studio
in a cowboy suit.
Heck yeah, driving a minivan through fucking a mountain because it can vibrate its molecules fast. Oh yeah,
yeah. Come on, man.
But the point the guy made that I was watching, he was like, we don't see exploitation films anymore because by rehashing and recycling and relaunching all the exact same movies, just everything's exploitation. Because you're like, oh, let me just redo the A-Team from the 80s, but we'll make more.
The last 3 Star Wars movies.
Yeah, exactly. And that is like Star Wars exploitation, but at least the other exploitation shit was fun to watch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, seriously, dude, when I was so disappointed with The Force Awakens when I showed up and I was like, wait a minute. Chick doesn't know her family, wearing all white, wandering around the desert with a little droid that's kind of cool. Wow,
I saw this.
It's almost like I've seen this movie.
Wait 1 second. I've seen this before. We go on Pornhub. It's on here. It's somewhere on here.
George Lucas is seriously writing down the details for his next movie. I should pitch a movie about this. Like, what?
Oh God. Yeah.
If they reboot Batman one more time, I'm gonna be on I'm gonna be in a tower.
Dude, as much as I love
like everybody gets a chance to be Batman.
Roman history. That's all.
What's that, Greg?
What?
As much as I love Star Wars, it's just, I mean, George Lucas was like, let's take Julius Caesar and put him in a dark suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Darth Vader didn't have epilepsy.
There's actually what is it? Like if Askew was here, he'd tell us. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like he's absolutely right. But there's a movie, a Japanese movie, The Snow Fortress or something, and it's exactly what Star Wars Episode 4 is. It's like the exact same fucking thing, but instead of a space station, it's a castle that can blow shit up. But like they go and save a princess. It's like, I mean, all he did is see that Japanese movie and go, huh? I'm gonna put this shit in Star Wars. Yeah.
Well, they also exploited history. Sons of bitches.
Yeah. And he's like, and Lucas is like, yeah, that's where I got the idea. Fuck yeah. You think I'm smart?
Yeah.
American Graffiti was just old songs and fucking cars. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not. The more you look at it, the more I deconstruct it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm a fucking idiot for really loving this shit. Like, goddamn, I'm stupid.
No, he did
on Geonosis, and they have a giant stadium where they sacrifice people, and you're like, fucking gladiators, damn it!
God damn it! Hoodwinked,
son of a!
They fucking covered everything. Are you honey dicking me?
They were honey dicking us with Natalie Portman. Oh no, the creature cut my back. Now you can see my boobs. Yep.
I'm into gore porn. Damn it.
Damn it. Every single time. Although, if you're telling me that Hoth sequence did not get you erect when you were a small preteen boy, I don't know what to say. Because the moment Han Solo cut up in that poor Tauntaun, that gets me going. Oh, yeah.
Luke, you're going to be hot and wet inside of this Tauntaun. I think episode 1 we visited this way too far, so I'm going to veer right on back.
I mean, it is kind of a metaphor for vagina. I mean, you know.
And I thought they smelled bad
On
the outside.
On the outside.
Next time you're about to go down on your wife, just throw that out there. She'll love it. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
women,
yeah.
Women love Star Wars references.
I'll let you know how that goes because I'm definitely gonna fucking say it.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know when the divorce will be final.
Oh my god!
Did you just say I have a smelly pussy? No. It's
it's from
cinematic.
Star Wars.
It's romantic.
Star Wars.
I swear.
From Star Wars.
Oh my god!
It's at minute 23, 15 seconds. We can get it on IMDb right now. Where are you going? Why are you putting your clothes on?
No, babe, come back.
Don't wake up the children. Come on.
Ah, man.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
I don't know why you're getting your backpack out. I don't know your sexy clothes in the dress there. Like.
Oh, man. And, I would bring more up for our nerd moment, but there hasn't been shit on as far as sci-fi on any of the major streaming platforms. Nothing new to discover. I'm literally watching Tiny House.
Nice.
I just started Stargate Atlantis again.
Oh man, great.
Watch.
Yeah.
I started The Boys. That's interesting.
The Boys is
dude,
good.
don't tell me about it. I haven't started season 2
Yeah,
yet.
I am current on The Boys.
I'm on episode 3 of the first season, so I still got a ways to go. But...
Somebody dropped a meme, and it might have been one of you guys. I don't remember. But it had a picture of Superman. It's like how the U.S. sees themselves, and then had a picture of Homelander, and it's like how the U.S. actually is. And I was like, that's accurate. I was
I'm
like, that's
comfortable
totally
with
accurate.
that. I have no qualms with that representation. I'm like, yeah. And don't fucking forget it.
Yeah.
Bring me that breast milk right now.
It's hard to it's hard to be humble when you're superior to everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, Homelander.
You can't just fly around the world and kill a whole family and expect no consequences. I mean, I can show you. I can literally show that to you.
Yeah.
Some cat in Arizona with a Predator drone. Like, I mean, is it a challenge, or I don't really know what your point is? Like,
challenge accepted, country.
Send me your GPS location. Why? Just do it. Watch this video of this ISIS cat on Instagram. Hey, we took this hill.
I'm just driving in my Hilux. What bad could happen today?
And the guy that fired that missile went home to his wife that night. Like,
no, you're being way too nice. Wife?
No, a couple times, man. It's like Call of Duty. It's totally cool.
He went home to his one-bedroom apartment, made a hot cup of noodles, and logged on to Call of Duty. And then prior to sleeping, he rubbed one off to some stepmom porn. That's the truth, right?
That sounds comparably better and slightly more positive. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to say anything incriminating, but like, made him sound a lot cooler your way.
That's actually not a bad life if you think about it. Like, it's just disassociate yourself from it.
You could have just been living the dream, man. You didn't have to rub it in.
Just remember that Air Force guy has that Air Force guy has a fucking deployment patch too.
He does. And he's just sitting there rocking out, we're not gonna take it. No, we're gonna take it. Yeah.
Bob and Tom on the radio. Yeah.
Oh man, this deployment's so rough.
Oh man. Oh gosh.
Look at this line at Starbucks. I gotta kill people in 15 minutes.
I gotta tell you, man. I can make fun of those guys all day long, but holy shit, are they useful and amazing? Because like manned ISR with weapons on, holy shit. Like, yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. I would way prefer some dude in Arizona whack some guy that's 5 clicks from me than me have to go whack some guy that's 5 clicks from me.
Yeah.
I mean, we've literally sat through the card player experience. Am I cleared hot? Yeah, you go ahead. Am I cleared hot? Yep, you are.
really.
Am I cleared hot? Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get more fuel. What the fuck?
I have to leave now.
Oh, yeah.
God, I still tell stories about those dudes. Oh God, I couldn't hate it. Dude, when I was in Germany, I was like, I better never hear that fucking call sign ever.
My favorite is they'll come on. Don't worry, boys, I got you. I'm coming on station. Doing a show of force. Woo! Fucking just in there in that cockpit, that dude's just fucking rocking out some Top Gun montage. He's like, all right, here we go. Low flyover with a bunch of flares. Woo! All right, and bingo fuel. See you boys later. I'm like, you just fucking highlighted us to the fucking enemy, asshole.
Hey, Dick.
And he's tripping balls on the most legalized form of Adderall and crystal meth. Like, woo! Like, thanks, Dick. I gotta hold this out for the next 3 days. Like,
yeah. The name of that magical drug is Provigil, and boy, it's amazing.
that's awesome.
It's
Hold on,
like,
let me write this down. I have a VA appointment tomorrow, so
it's like the original formula of Jack 3D.
Yeah. Did you guys ever hear that story about the Polish dude that got fucking? They used to give him like meth so they could fight longer or whatever. Maybe it was Spanish. And he just like got stuck out in the enemy, so he just took all the shit they had and was up for like 3 days and lost 45 pounds and fucking murdered everybody. Came back all wired. I'm like, oh, that's totally where we got that idea.
And that's where techno music came from.
Yeah. And that was just the sound of his boots and goo from all the gore and guts. Nine! That's his head of the contesting!
Nine! Dual fist pumping.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, there's something to be said about former Eastern Bloc countries, man. They rock.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh.
When I was in Lithuania, literally we shot a guy on a live fire range that was hiding downrange to steal brass,
Shit,
and
yeah.
he went to jail. The guy we shot. And we asked the Lithuanians, we're like, wait a minute, do we need to fill out an incident report or report this or something? He's like, no, he was on the range illegally.
No,
He's
he'll
like,
never
I'm
make
glad
it
he
to the
got
hospital.
shot.
No,
It's
don't
like, next
worry.
time, kill him. We're like, oh, soldiers, you did not hear that. My 240 gunners are actually started looking for people. I was like, no,
Yeah.
that's that. No. We have to answer this shit eventually.
You see posters in the clubs in town about, hey, free brass downrange to this day. Like,
Why are all these posters written in English?
that is awesome.
Oh, dude, no, it was hilarious. That was my introduction to being a first sergeant. I was like, okay.
Which leads us to our first serious topic, leadership. For those joining us today, we have one of the most influential members of our platoon in our 82nd days. We have our platoon sergeant, Big Mac. And today, we're going to talk about leadership. Just leadership. That's it. It's going to be real dry.
Awesome.
Real dry. Just how to just beat kids into submission and make them do your will.
Is this the acronym, the loyalty, duty, all that? I don't remember.
Yeah. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service.
In order for the
honor,
acronym to work,
integrity,
we have to misspell the word in order for the acronym to be effective. Like,
Yeah,
I still can't spell.
We'll end up
College,
looking
I'm like writing
like
that shit. And they're like, that's not how that goes. I'm like, trust me, it is. That's how you
me.
spell leadership. I think I know a thing or two about leadership. Like,
we'll end up
piece of
looking like
shit.
Larson at a board.
Oh,
Explain
God.
leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service,
Oh.
honor, integrity.
do you want me?
Integrity? Yes, integrity. Integrity.
Intergery.
Integrity.
You know.
You know, the thing where you do things that are right and not wrong.
It's like so funny. Like when you're just a regular guy in a platoon. You're like, oh, I'm in my early 20s, and Mac, you were early 30s.
Oh yeah. By the time you met me, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that frame of mind is like, oh, somebody in their 30s. they got their shit put together. They know what the fuck they're doing. Of course, they're the fucking platoon sergeant. People in their 30s, and then I hit 30, and I'm like, holy fucking shit! I don't know what the
that
fuck
guy didn't
I'm
know
doing.
what the fuck he was doing.
And that dude was keeping an entire fucking platoon alive. How the fuck did he do it?
I should clearly smoke more. Like,
Yes, that was one of my leadership techniques to pass along.
So please share with us your what it was like having to wrangle all those kids and your perspective from that time period and moving on as you moved up, like your challenges. Just in a short, wrap it up in like 20, 30 minutes.
Only 20, 30 minutes. Okay.
You've got 30 years.
So you remember some of my wait, I got one last thing speeches.
Yeah.
4 hours
just hunker
later.
down, guys. We're gonna bivouac. Clearly, he said one last thing like this.
He said he had one more thing. That means like 15 more things.
Who set up fire guard?
But I mean, really, what it is like I had a really good upbringing. And by upbringing, I don't mean parents. I fucking raised by a single mom, friggin' dad, to be determined. But no, upbringing in yeah, well, it's just a special uncle. We still send Christmas cards. But no, Afghanistan was a really good teaching moment for me. I really consider that to be when I became a leader. And I was a squad leader at that time. I was a staff sergeant in Afghanistan. But it was my first combat tour. Learned a ton of shit of what to do, a ton of shit of what not to do, i.e. anything that Helm would do. That was our old platoon sergeant. Strobes can tell you all about him. He was great individual that should probably be found dead in a ditch somewhere.
He has a tiny penis.
Yeah, I mean that is confirmed actually from his ex-wife. She came and told us he has a tiny penis. So she said it at his going away party. Just kidding. That totally never happened, but probably does totally have a small penis.
Very, very tiny. So small and very tiny.
Any of you boys want to come over and help me out? Please do. I'm cool, Mrs. Helms.
No, please. Send that big guy, the big blonde guy. I think his name's McClyman. I want him to McClyman on me.
He was the first NCO that fulfilled that role that I ever knew as the E7 banging the E4 on deployment. Like,
oh yeah, that was great. That was a wonderful last night in Afghanistan.
Yeah, like 15 dudes per 10, except for that one, so he could hook up with a Z4 chick. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, well, I think there are rules against it. I don't know. I would have to refer to the regulations.
What if he's a shapely young cook? Boyish looks.
I just keep questioning it when you didn't want to be in a tent with 15 fucking dudes.
One girl or
that's the
15
right question,
dudes?
Greg.
No brainer.
Yeah.
Bring on the dudes.
Bring on the
There's a lot more orifices in the 15 dudes tent. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean there is. There's options.
Can I get
options.
more than 15 dudes? Do we have bigger tents?
I mean, it's about what you can fit, Greg. It's not like
Yeah.
Bring on the oils and the dudes.
But really, I mean that was kind of my my coming of age. We had some really great leaders as well during that deployment, so it kind of set me up for success later. So keeping the young guys together, it was really just keeping your pulse on the platoon. And I think that's really the key to leadership in anything, is just talking to your guys. Like I got my best intelligence on what was going on in my 5 to 10 minute smoke breaks in the day.
Yeah.
Guys would show up and then come down, it's fucking, hey, any issues? Oh, no issues. All right. And then you go out to the smoke pit and here comes, Joe Snuffy. And he's like, I haven't been paid in 3 months. And you're like, Fuck, dude, I'm trying to smoke over here. All right, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Come talk to me. Come talk to me. What do you mean you haven't gotten paid in 3 months? Oh yeah, I haven't got paid in 3 months. Why am I just hearing about this now? Well, I told my team leader. Your team leader's a fucking moron.
To be honest, though, Joe Snuffy was an idiot. Nobody liked him.
Well, yeah, it turned out he actually was not enlisted in the Army, and that's why he didn't get paid for 3 months. He showed up at Fort Bragg with a uniform, and he's just like, I guess this is what I do now. Dad told me to get out. I guess this is what I do. Where'd you go to basic training? Oh, my hometown. Okay, so you live outside of Benning. Oh, that's weird. Okay, well, whatever. Perfect. There's Army brat. Yeah, that's cool.
Who am I to question this young man?
I'm from Fayetteville. Yeah, whatever. He's getting shit confused. Fucking dumb kid.
It always blows my mind the amount of people that enlist from Fayetteville, though.
Oh, dude, yeah, and then immediately go to Fort Bragg. Like, you literally live in the butthole of the universe. Not even America, the universe. There are people from, like, Bangladesh that show up in Fayetteville, and they're like, fuck this, we're going back to Bangladesh. We had a higher standard of living. But, yeah, I mean... You get those kids and you just kind of keep your pulse on everything. I mean, who's gonna fuck up before they fuck up. An ability to read people. That's another thing that's kind of one of those keys to leadership. You're like, hey, this guy looks really good. Oh, but he's going and talking to the biggest douchebag in the platoon. All right, this guy's gonna be a tool. When they come in there and when you're doing a barracks check and they're like, hey, Brooks has a girl in his room, and you go check her out and she's covered in glitter, you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be a problem a couple of years from now.
2 weeks later.
which it was.
As you moved up, that's the other thing. Like, we obviously had you for super awesome, great deployment. We kept the family together, no real big issues. And then you stayed with us for the train up, and I think it was like weeks before we deployed.
2 weeks.
Yeah. They just brought in a whole different dude. And it was just kind of like, all right, your dad's leaving. Here's this new guy. Like, shit.
Here's your new stepdad.
Yeah. Like, bye, Dad.
Yeah, brother. I actually, I remember the day that happened. We were in the morning platoon sergeant meeting, and this dude was I forget what his fucking name. If I ever see him, I'll murder him.
I think his name is Bird, like BYRD, Bird. I think.
I don't know. Probably first name shit.
It checks out.
But yeah, let's Google him.
It's an elder code, but it checks out.
But nice. But we were sitting there, and Jordan's like, "Hey, after this, we're all gonna go over to battalion." And I knew the guy was promotable. He was supposed to be taking second platoon, and that's why he was a squad leader over there. And he's like, and then he looks at me and he's like, "Sergeant Major wants to talk to you when you're done." And I was like, "Hey, is somebody fucking taking my platoon?" And he's like, "No, man, the sergeant major's gonna talk to you about it when we're done." And I'm like, "I'll push this motherfucker in front of a car." I was like, "I don't give a shit. You can't deploy on profile, bro." And lo and fucking behold, we went over and promoted that cocksucker. And then fucking good old Dirty Sturdy pulls me in his office and he's like, "Hey, so you've done your platoon sergeant thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, and I'm gonna do it on this deployment too." And he's like, no, you're already good. So we're going to bring you up to battalion. I was like, I literally told my wife, let me get through this last deployment, and then we're leaving Bragg. And you're telling me 2 weeks out that you're taking my platoon. Well, we need you elsewhere. I was like, no. I was like, how about, dude, I tried everything. I threw myself on it. I was like, how about I just, like, he's the platoon sergeant. but I'm just like in the background while he gets his shit together. I was like, because I remember when I fucking took over the platoon, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. And I was like, and this dude, friggin', he's an idiot.
Oh, he ended up being he got fired. He got fired.
Oh, I know. That's how I got my second platoon, because he got fired and another guy got fired and some other people got fired. And then Dirty Sturdy, halfway through the deployment, fucking called me and he's like, "Hey man, I got to take you off the bench." I was like, "Well, you shouldn't have fucking put me on the bench to begin with." It's like everything was going good. Hey, nothing's broke. Well, let's break it. That's the Army's wisdom right there.
Oh yeah. So you get a second round at being a platoon sergeant. How long does that last?
That lasted almost a year till we got back from deployment. I got the guys through deployment, and then we got back, and I was already on order, so I had about 4 or 5 months before I left. And I got those guys, set them up for success. Started training up the inevitable fucking new guys that you get when you come back.
Yeah.
And but the platoon, when I got it, number one, Anger had already moved over to Alpha Company to be a first sergeant.
Yeah.
And it was one of his platoons. And I remember when I showed up to the talk, he literally was sitting at his desk with his hands, with his head in his hands. Just like it looked like he had been beaten.
No.
And he looks up, and I walk in. I was like, "What's up, brother?" And he's like, "Thank God you're here, man. I fucking need you." And he gave me the shittiest fucking platoon that he had available.
Oh God. Yeah. How did that work out? How fucking awesome was it working with Anger again?
Oh, it was good and it was bad. Like what was good about it was I knew a lot of the guys over in Alpha Company. At that point I had been in the battalion for 6.5 years. So I knew a lot of the guys within the battalion to begin with, but I knew a lot of the guys over in Alpha Company. And then working with Anger again, it was a known quantity. We were platoon sergeants together. So, we saw eye to eye on a lot of things. And I just instantly, from that familiarity, I was his go-to dude. There was actually, I'm trying to think, it was his second platoon sergeant that outranked me by 2 months. But every time Anger had to go away or he couldn't go out and do first sergeant stuff because he had to do first sergeant stuff on the FOB, he would send me as his rep. And this dude, I remember one day this dude comes up and he's like, "Hey man, when did you get promoted?" And he's trying to make it like it's small talk, but what he's really trying to do is figure out if he had time and grade on me or not. So I turned it around and I asked him and he told me, and I made my fucking promotion like a month before his, and he's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." It's like, yeah, whatever, tool. It's like, you suck. Now the funny part is the guy that asked that question had almost been relieved because he left his rifle at a checkpoint and drove 30 kilometers down the road without his rifle.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and that's the guy that's in charge. I was like, I was like, dude, you shouldn't have a job, let alone be wanting the next job.
Holy fuck, that's... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'll never guess who found his rifle.
Rose.
No. There's poetic justice in this, man. I found it.
Nice.
I was bringing out a resupply, and I stopped to those guys that were pulling a checkpoint, and one of them comes up to me, this little sheepish fucking team leader that I had known since he was a friggin' private, and he's like, "Hey, are you going down to the cop?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm on that way after I drop you guys off some water and some chow." And he's like, "Can you bring this back?" He's like, "It's Sergeant B's." I was like, "I can totally bring that to him."
Of
I will
course.
absolutely make sure he gets it.
Thank you, young one.
Yes.
Here's a nickel
are-
for your troubles.
You are now a Jedi. You are no longer a Padawan. Cut off that ponytail.
Oh.
But no,
Oh,
really,
yeah.
it's out of regs. Cut that shit off.
How the fuck did you even get that out here? Oh, dude, it's priceless.
Now, while we're still talking about the lower, before you transition over to being the first sergeant, Paul, I want to know what was your experience like as a squad leader? On par with about what Mac went through, or was it more intimate for you, being that you're at the squad level?
So, like, you mean for Mac or just as a leader?
As a leader,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah. So, I would say so. Yeah, and I think, it'll take some thought. So, trying to be fair, but yeah. So my squad leader time happened quick too. So my transition to a woman was I got back from Afghanistan, did the gun team thing that whole time.
Yeah.
I came back. I got moved to a line squad, second squad. I had this interesting individual who's pretty much a tool put in front of us. He was kind of like the profile ninja, and the guy Mac was talking about Helm. He was like Helm's favorite lackey, but the dude was like kind of a broke dick.
Hate that.
Who you and you know this guy. I'll tell you that. So he was my first squad leader, and then out of that, not my first squad leader off the gun team. And McClyman and I were both put in this line squad. Well, no, first I was a 203 gunner, so I wasn't even a lead. And I memorized everything I could on the 203. I like did something. I went away and came back, and the next day like, hey, you're a team leader. You're still gonna be on the 203. You're working for Adzima. McClyman's the other guy. I think Joy was under me. And then I went to WLC. And Mac called me and said, hey, you're a squad leader when you get back. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm trying to remember how it all went out, because what this dude had done is he had done some wonky shit. And one of the stupidest things, so my first like line squad experience. So I had Mac as a squad leader. Before I had this guy, Pearson. Anger was my first. Anger was like a very comforting person. He was very much like the platoon sergeant, first sergeant he was, where he's like firm, but he was kind of like the dad, like, hey,
yeah,
not angry, I'm just disappointed. Pearson was like, you fucking suck. Life's going to be hard, but you'll get better. And then it was like Mac kind of came in like, hey, we can make this work. And it just jived really well, melted really well. This new dude I got, we'll call him Michael Adzima, but he was like, don't talk to whatever, I was B team or whatever. He's like, don't talk to McClyman. If you need to talk to McClyman, go through me. And I told McClyman the same. I don't want you guys talking. And you're like, that? I don't see the recipe for success there. And then I would get calls from McClyman like, hey, Adzima says you think I'm an asshole and you don't like me. And it's like, no, I never said that. And then I would go to work and Adzima would be like, McClyman was talking all this shit about you, senior. And I was like, are we really doing this? Like, are we really fucking adults? So I called McClyman. I'm like, hey, yo, I'm going to go on a limb. You never said this about me. He was like, no. And I was like, okay. And he's like, did you say this about me? I'm like, no. And he was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I think Adzima's our problem. So like two fucking 19-year-old adults, we went to Adzima and we were like, hey, bro, like, why are you doing this? He's like, that's not true. That's not true. And he flipped out. Got all weird. And then turned into a total bitch. And he went out of this big tirade of, I will always be here for you. I will never leave. I'm sorry this happened. We're just going to hang out. We're all going to be best friends. I'm the best thing you guys ever had. Like, this is going to be the best squad ever. Like, never leaving you guys. And then I went to WLC and Mac's like, yeah, Zima's going to PsyOps. And I was like, what the fuck? And
I'll promise I'll always love you.
And then it's like, you're a squad leader now. And I was like, ruh-roh. And then I remember, I will say, to a sidebar to that, I immediately deleted Adzima's number because I was like, I'll never need this shit again. And 2 weeks later, I got a call from some Ohio number. I'm like, who the fuck is this? So I answer it and I go, who the fuck is this? And I hear, I've only been gone 2 weeks and you don't even remember me? And I was like, motherfucker. And he's like, wait, did you delete my number out of your phone? I'm like, yeah, I did. I thought we were friends. I thought we'd been through shit. And I was like, no, we're not friends.
I literally hate you.
In fact, we're the opposite of friends.
Yeah. What is wrong with you as a human being? So I felt like I was always behind. And then Mac gave me two killer team leads, Desi and Joy, and they are like polar opposites. Desi was super chill and calm, and he would get anything done, and Joy was super tense and uptight, but he would get anything done. And I think for me as a leader, I was like, guys, like, I don't think I'm ready for this. This is where we're at. I need your help if we're going to make it. And I was just really these are the things I'm not good at, so you guys got to help me. Like, I'm not the PT stud. I'm not these things, but I can sit back and think about some shit, and we can walk through it. And if we think out loud, we'll do a lot better. And I did learn that from Mac too, because Pearson was a really good knowledge guy, and he'd be like, do this. He'd give you the answer. Mac would be kind of like, hey, how do we work through this and figure out the answer? What's the conversation? And I think what was cool then at the platoon sergeant level, he really introduced that. And instead of, you get in the op order and be like, this is exactly what you're going to do. It's like, this is what we need to do. How do we get there? And it made a lot more room.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was like, one of the great things, I actually use that later on in life too. But Strobel, one of the good things about Paul was we would analyze a mission. The PL would come back, give us the quick warno, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and then we would sit around, the squad leaders and the platoon sergeant would sit around and analyze the mission. And Paul was always really quiet at the beginning of it. And then once we had about 85% of the plan flushed out, he just walk up to the sand table or the map or whatever, and just look at it. He's like, "What if we did this?" And the rest of us would look at each other and we're like, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That was good. That was good. Let's do that."
Well, and we had guys that were just solid, and they do the book stuff, and I think our company was pretty good about basics, and I think that's kind of what I hung to, is know the basics. All the frilly shit don't know. Like McClymon was awesome at doing like all this cool CAG type training shit and like really high speed, whatever, and he pushes guys, and that's awesome. But for me, it's like, remember what the basics are, and then like one of the things I remember is like assaulting a compound with Salcedo and Seagraves. And we had all this stuff. We're going to use the tactical ladder. We're going to do all this. And it's like, why don't we just use a truck to breach the wall? Like, why don't we just pull up to the wall and jump over it? Like, why don't we, instead of driving down Main Street, why don't we drive behind all the backyards so we can only take fire from one side? And I don't know. It was neat, but it was like you kind of hear it. And then once you see, like, this is what we need to do because this is what Army does, then you're like, how do we not do what Army does? Because it's like the fucking Peter Griffin. They're going to expect Army guys.
Yeah. And you develop multiple courses of action and you war game it, and maybe you take a little from A and B and then you put together and come up with C, which you mitigate risk with. You have a better chance of survival. You meet all your objectives. Like, that's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do as a good military organization, is like talk through with your leaders and like empower your subordinates to come through and help with the solution, rather than just going at it through doctrinal 7-8 and be like, okay, this time we gotta do it. Fire and bunk.
I think
it's battle drill 1, so we lay down fire and then we go around to left or right.
You alternate left this time, right next time.
Yes.
And I think,
wait a minute, left is a cliff. No, but we went right last time. We have to go left. We go left.
You know the rule. Yeah. So Helm was an RI, and I think, and I to the plus or minus of that. So I think he was very much, you do this because this is what the handbook says to do. And it just felt like that. I wasn't necessarily at that circle at that time. But again, back to Mac's piece with knowing your circle. So my biggest memory, the thing I take away most from the Army, is hanging out at smoke pits. And I never really smoked, but that's where you got the most information.
As much as I tried really hard.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Just didn't take.
To their credit, yeah. But like you learn about your team and who your team was, and then you make these relationships that I don't think were necessarily terrible, but like McClymon, strong guy, awesome dude. So his guys would kind of come to me looking for info that maybe he wasn't giving out, and I don't think that was to his negative, but it was like, hey, we need this information. The other weird thing is, I had a mentality there, especially in Iraq, that I guess you could say I felt pretty fucked in life. I felt like you can't do a whole lot about what we were doing. So I was just kind of happy about it. And I was with guys I really enjoyed being with. So it's kind of like, if we die doing this, at least we die. So I remember like Felly being one that's like, how are you always happy? And I'd talk to him. He'd be like, I'm having a shitty day. This is going on. I'm like, well, Me too, man. My wife's got a brain tumor. This is going on. This is going on. But fuck it, dude. We can all die and not have to worry about it. Then he'd just be like, "What? That's awesome!" Like what the fuck is wrong with you? And there was just kind of that whole like, "Hey, we're just vibing, man. There's nothing else to do." But I think knowing the guys and knowing who they were and knowing what they could do, we learned a lot about them. Like Askew was kind of a weird fit, but like he was a truck guy and he was a machine gun guy. And once you put him in that slot, before that, like he would drive you nuts, man.
Yeah,
Video,
it's just getting your talent management, knowing where to put dudes.
Exactly, man. And again, it's so easy to be like, you're the typical, stereotypical awesome soldier. I'm going to give you accolades, and you're going to be this PT stud. And it's like, well, most of the guys in the Army aren't that. Most of the guys are. You've got the team. You've got everything you need in the team you have. You just got to put them in the right places and know who they are.
Yeah.
And I think Mac kind of showed that by the talking and getting to know each other, just that personal investment. And then I guess not that anything's wrong with the Ranger handbook and all that, but you kind of realize like, hey, I may have wished I checked that box off. I didn't, but at least I know I don't need that to function still. And I'll say like, once I left, go ahead, Mac.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stomp
No,
all
you're
over
good,
you,
man.
dude. What a dick. 15 years later, I still can't hang it up. I'm like, no. Let me put my point in. I'm the leader guy. No, sorry. No, I mean, he's hitting that point, and I mean, I think that's really what leadership comes down to. Is it's, I mean, we are a people business, and I've heard that fucking as a buzzword, and it annoys me. But I mean, really, when you look at it, we are, because you're asking people to do shit that is not fucking normal. I want you to march to the sound of the guns, and then I want you to make those guns quiet by using our guns. Nobody fucking wants to do that. And you can do it through intimidation and by rank for so long. But then at some point, those guys that are with you, they have to know that fucking you're going to take care of them. And you don't do that unless you build those personal relationships. And you also have to be humble enough that when you make a decision or when you fucking lay out a course of action and somebody comes up and questions it or has a better idea, to go ahead and say, yeah, fuck, let's do that instead. That's way better than my idea. That was shit.
Yep.
So I think that's some of the keys to success. And it also helped that, we had a really good group of guys. When someone would leave, another guy would come and fill in that place. You always had the jokester. You always had the gym nut. You always had, the guy who's just fucking mopey puppy all the time. But you can adjust to that. You're like, okay, mopey puppy, I'm fucking telling you something. Hey, you just won the lottery. Oh fuck, now I have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're also gonna fucking drive a Ferrari to work every day.
Oh,
man, what if I get a flat tire? But you could adjust for that. You're like, all right, I'm gonna tell this guy something. He's gonna hate it, but he's still gonna go do it. He's just gonna bitch about it the entire time. Or you get the happy guy. Hey, we're gonna go murder some people today. Fuck yeah, let's go murder. All right, yay. All right. Cool. You're giving the prep speech before we leave.
I will say our group's tough though too, because Hudson was Hudson, and he was that, and we traded Hudson essentially for Seagraves.
Yeah,
and it was hard to fit Seagraves in. That was a tough, oh fuck. And then Torres, it took Torres a minute to kind of find his spot. Maybe I hope he felt like he found the spot. I didn't know him well. I didn't spend a lot of one-on-one time with Torres, so I didn't necessarily feel like, hey.
Well, it's just because he didn't speak English. So
yeah, I'm a dick. So not speaking English, get out.
Oh, I remember. Funny. I mean that's the only good use of my ex-wife was my pidgin Spanish.
I met that guy a handful of times, and the first time he came over to the smoke pit, he started speaking Spanish, and I'm like, yes, little slower. Bueno. All right, this is enough. Walk away from me, please.
It's like,
hey, Sandia Barreto.
Muy bueno. Por favor. No, wait a minute. That's please. That doesn't fit.
Shit.
Senor. Cerveza?
Major cervezas.
Yes.
No, Greg, when you transferred out of when you freaking PCS to Hood, you went to Hood, right? Or was Bliss?
No, it was Bliss.
Bliss.
I'm
did
sorry.
did you eventually take on a squad or?
So that was fucking weird. What happened there was just fucking weird.
You,
Hey, at least
can
you didn't
talk
go to
about
Hood.
it.
You
It's
could be
safe.
dead.
Who touched
So-
you?
So I got
What they
mixed
did
up
wasn't
with,
normal.
with a unit that was both tanker and infantry.
Oh
It
Jesus!
was a stand-up striker unit, some shit like that. Where like,
Oh, I just vomited in my mouth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was miserable, man.
Oh, how did? Yeah. So, what was your perspective coming from the 82nd?
I'm better
Having
than
to,
you.
yeah, exactly. Like having like you had all this experience as team leader in one unit. In that leadership role, how do you continue and how do you get vetted in and continue to progress? Like, because it's like essentially day one. It's I would imagine those two units were like night and day. I have to imagine. So how did you succeed with that leadership challenge?
So when we got there, and I mean a few of us, because it was a new unit, they're standing it up,
Yeah.
right? And we have no fucking idea what's going on. You know, everybody else got to bon voyage to fucking Alaska, and it
Yeah.
was myself and one other guy. Like, you're going to Bliss, like, cool. So I have nobody that I know. This will be great. But yeah, I got down there. I mean, that place was. So you at the time, like, you thought Bragg was bad with the keep off the fucking grass and all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Bliss at the time was trying to become the premier fucking training facility and center for the Army, right? They wanted to be everything. So I mean, they're like, stay off the rocks, and you're like, they're fucking rocks, right? It's just,
They're not gonna
they're
grow.
fucking open desert. If you step on that weed, that's the only one we got. Like, yeah, all right, sorry. But
Pull it out like.
So at that time, the Army, I mean, it was just getting the fucking taste of bliss in the beginning. I was just like, wow, I'm gonna be super professional, but a piece of shit because these guys are gonna fucking hate me. So I hadn't signed into my unit. I'm still technically assigned to the 82nd. So when I show up, I don't know any better. I'm wearing, aces on both sides, and I have a maroon beret.
Fuck yeah.
That's all I fucking have. What the fuck else you want me to do?
Exactly.
So I show up and everybody's fucking giving me this fucking stink eye, and I'm like, yes. Is there a problem?
You there.
And some fucking E7 randomly walks up to me, fat as fuck, and I was just like, wow, this is typical. Like, I kind of expected this. You better take that fucking beret off. And I was like, you better take it off of me, I guess, or try to. Like that's. And he's like, you're talking to a sergeant first class. And I was like, I had no idea what rank structure was or what these ranks even were. I'm clearly new here. And yeah, it's just fucking stupid shit, man. And he's like, yeah, the Army's mandated to wear fucking patrol caps. And I was like, the 82nd's still wearing maroon berets. And until I sign into my unit, I'm still with the 82nd. So gonna hold on to this for now.
So hostile environment from the get-go.
Fucking hostile as fuck from all these fat
That's
fucks.
awesome.
It's just like, man, fuck
Welcome
y'all.
to Globo Gym. We know we're better than you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I signed in, got to my fucking unit, got my patrol cap, which I had to go buy a few of them because, well, boonies and berets is the 82nd way. So
yeah.
As
at the
it
time
should
it
be.
was at least. But yeah, we show up and it's me and one other guy who is actually a Red Devil. So I was like, all right, at least we got that. And then one dude from fucking Ranger Regiment who refused to go to fucking Ranger school, probably didn't refuse, probably just couldn't hack it. So he got booted out of fucking regiment. They sent him there. And then fuck ton of dudes from the 101st. That was probably the most annoying thing. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
immediately, it's unit rivalries that nobody at Fort Bliss could ever understand. Ever. So everyone's just fucking button heads. Everyone's better than everyone else. And surprisingly, myself, the Red Devil, and the fucking Ranger guy all become very good friends. And just kind of keep to our fucking selves. Let the 101st guys be idiots. Every time you hear Rakasans, like, yeah, all right, beat off your mom. I get it. But it's just the stupid shit that we were dealing with. And then we started getting Joes. And that's the thing. Everybody was fucking E4 promotable. We're all getting ready to fucking pick up stripes, take on teams. We have maybe a couple E6s in the whole fucking battalion right now. So it's like, all right, cool. We're just self-policing for fucking 2 or 3 months. Then the tankers start coming in with the new privates and find out that you have a tanker sergeant major and a tanker battalion, commander, and all your fucking leadership's going to be tankers. I was
man.
like, oh, that's
What's the worst
awesome.
that could happen?
This is going to be great. And finally, first sergeants start, filling in, and there's a couple first sergeants that are 82nd or formerly 82nd. So I was like, all right, it's not too bad. They're all infantry. Okay, this could be okay. And then I get a fucking tanker platoon sergeant, and I was like, all right, this sucks. And the tanker platoon leader.
Not okay.
Okay. And I get thrown into this, they call it a support platoon. It's an MGS platoon, which is your main gun system for a striker. It's a striker that has 105 howitzer on it. You're like, all right, 105, that's cool. Maybe I'll get to shoot it someday. They're like, yeah, it's tankers. I'm like, yeah, okay.
All right.
You're not qualified.
Got it. Funny story. They have a training simulation in those things. And it's like, does a little fucking NVG type setup and shows little targets and stuff like that. And it actually keeps a score. I got the fucking high score. Like I was like, yeah, guys, I play Xbox like 3 hours a night every day.
My God,
life.
he's the chosen one.
Fucking,
You're really right. The 82nd paratroopers can do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of what it turned into.
Give this man a tank right now.
I get sent to the board again because I boarded with the 82nd while we were on that second Iraq deployment.
Yeah.
And was given a green light, you're good to go, and then was told, well, they're going to withhold it because they don't want you to eat a slot. And I was like, that makes sense, I guess. They promote me, and then I have to fucking leave. So it's like, all right, well, fuck off. So get there. Apparently my whole packet's fucking lost. So like, yeah, you got to go to the board again. Cool. So go to the board, and the guy who's in charge of the board is a, lieutenant colonel. I was like, this is weird. Like, this is the NCO board, right? And they're like, mm-hmm. Kind of staring at the colonel like, what do you...
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
don't mind those lieutenants in the corner.
should I tell him? I think I'm going to tell him. Like, this is a fucking NCO board, man. Like, you're not supposed to be here. But, yeah, one of the fucking first sergeants, like, walks up to me in the middle of the fucking board as I'm standing at attention, waiting for this lieutenant colonel to cut the salute so I can go about my business. He walks up and he's like, just go with it. He just wants to be here. And I was like, yeah, roger that. So, like,
Someone
it's the
told
worst
him he's
fucking
in
board I've ever
charge.
been to.
Just don't make eye contact. Like,
So these guys are so fucking stupid, man. The board was fucked up. They call everybody back in immediately.
So of course.
Yeah, I know, but they call everybody back in to like tell them if they were go no go. Like immediately following the board, they have their fucking 5-10 minute powwow, call you back in, let you know. I never get called back in, so I was like, all right. We sat there for like an hour, and I was like, all right. So I go back to the battalion area, start taking off the Class A's and all that good shit, and some runner comes in. Your colonel is pissed you left. Like, colonel never told me to stay. And I'm kind of more interested in what Sergeant Major and all the first sergeants have to say personally. But, all right. So I just go back there with ACUs. I didn't even fucking put back Class A's back on. Like, yeah, whatever, man. You're gonna tell me that I'm not ready to be a fucking NCO for you. Got it. Well, this
Look at
motherfucker's
this
like,
guy.
I want
It's
you
almost
to
like
go
he
to
doesn't
fucking
care. He's a
Ranger
go-getter.
school. I want you to fucking be in our recon platoon. I want you to do all this stuff. And I was like, probably not, but all right, you know. So, so I get. So there you go. Your E4P, and then they do the one thing that I never saw in the 82nd. Right? We're promoting you to corporal. What? Yeah, you're going to be a corporal. And I was like, the fuck is a corporal? This isn't the Marines. You're going to be a corporal. It's a fucking junior NCO. And I was like, how about you just promote me to sergeant? Like, I mean, the points were coming out at like 4 something and I had 6 something. So I was like, why can't we just do it that way? Like, I'll just wait until that happens. Like, you're going to be a corporal. So now I'm a corporal. They're like, all right, you're a team leader. All right, I'm a corporal team leader. You know, is it a gun team? What is it? It's a fire team. Okay, who's in my fire team? Well, you got one team that's going to be infantry. The other team's going to be tankers.
Oh my God.
Guys, this doesn't work. Like, so what the fuck? What do I do with the fucking tankers? You know, they're like, well, I'll just keep them in the vehicles. Like, so I have half a team. You know, like,
Feed him donuts.
You know, so fuck, man. So
feed him donuts and don't ask him to get off the trucks.
So to say that you were giving a
experience.
unique challenge is
yeah, I'm getting frustrated just thinking about the stupid shit that was happening there. But to make an already long story short, I get my fucking stripes. So now I'm an E5. There's a couple tanker staff sergeants in the platoon that are in charge of infantrymen now. They don't know what to fucking do. Nobody knows what to fucking do. You know, and I'm a fucking, you know, now I'm a squad leader that's an E5 that has these E6s that have been in for fucking 12 plus years coming up to me going, hey man, how do I get these guys to actually do the things I need them to do? I'm like, I don't use your rank. You know, figure it out. Fuck, man. I should be asking you these fucking questions. Like, what the fuck? And the platoon sergeant fucking calls me in his office. I got to go to some class. All right. He's like, you're acting platoon sergeant. I'm like, I am not a fucking rank to do that, dude. Like, you got E6s. He's like, they're fucking idiots. I'm going to have you do it. And I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, you better go upstairs, man. First sergeant has a meeting at 0700. Cool, man. It's 6:57. Great. You know, so I just got fucked around there hardcore. And I mean, that was that whole learn what not to do. That was my bliss experience.
oh, so it wasn't a positive one.
I don't know what you're talking about, Cab. That sounds like super positive.
It was not blissful.
I mean, there's actually moments that happened there that I still hold on to today. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty fucking cool. Like, we had this unit we're standing up was decommissioned after the Korean War. So the last time anybody was ever in this fucking unit, they were Korean War veterans, right? That's where they fought. And they brought a few of those dudes in when we were standing up and like officially like, hey, it's alive.
This is Hal. He's your new machine gunner.
They told us to fucking shut the fuck up, stay out of sight, stay out of mind. They're going to have the ceremony and they fucking got all the 6 foot plus tall guys and they're going to stand out there with their fucking machine guns in formation for these fucking Korean War vets. And I was like, dude, deal. Like, you guys have at it. You know, I'll sit in the fucking cough with the boys all day. We'll just do some fucking training or whatever. And I started doing land nav training, which I was very good at land nav. I'll toot my own horn on that one. That shit was easy. And so I'm fucking showing these guys how to fucking plot points and how to shoot an azimuth, and we're just going through all this stupid shit. And then you get that classic fucking, you know, speaking of Joe Snuffy, well, don't we have GPS now? So I was like, cool, man. I get to do the fun part where I sound like fucking some old timey fucking asshole. Like, all right, bro. So when your batteries die, or you're in the fucking mountains and you're not getting a good signal, what are you doing?
I just go to the
can't
yard
we
sale
just
and
get
get
more
batteries.
batteries?
Yeah, I just carry more batteries. Like, nah, bro. Like, all right, so let's go even more extreme. Say the North Koreans fucking explode a nuclear weapon in the air above you, and it creates an EMP that just knocks out all your electronics. Now, what are you gonna do?
Well, satellites are in space, so
Fuck. You know, you're just like, yeah. So I start yelling at this fucking kid, which gets me yelling at all these fucking kids because none of them are interested in what's going on. And I'm teaching you good shit. Pay the fuck attention. This is something that could save your life someday when you probably make a wrong turn and get captured by the enemy and then somehow miraculously escape because you're idiots and this is going to happen to you. So, fuck, man, the Korean War veterans are fucking standing behind me as I'm yelling at these dudes about how this could save their fucking lives. And, I fucking turn around and my first sergeant's just sitting there staring at me with his fucking mouth wide open like, God damn it. And I was just like, fuck, and I said that. I was like, fuck. What the Korean War veterans was like, where did you come from, boy? And I was just like, I came from the 82nd. He was like, fuck yeah. He's like, God, I'm so glad to see this still happening. And he's like, fuck yeah, that's all I wanted to fucking see. And he just turns around and walks away. And first sergeant's like, I'll talk to you later. I was like, roger that, first sergeant. And I'm like, my bad. So yeah, it was stupid shit like that, man. I mean, I had a lot of fun
Greg
there.
gave an entire unit of Korean War veterans boners.
I did.
They hadn't seen good old Pepe standing at attention in like 50 years.
If this kid's around, I hear that a lot.
Raining blood, I have to shot to my penis. Want to have some relations this weekend? Just yell at me and tell me I'm a piece of shit.
Oh God!
And everything I learned there, everything I learned at Bragg, I've just thrown everything that I had that I thought was good information into my civilian career, and it's been fantastic. I got fucking dudes that are willing to leave badass jobs the second we open back up because they'd rather come work for me. Or if you're gonna leave, let me know, man, because I'm not gonna work there unless you're there. Like, that shit makes me fucking feel good to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, bro. I'll be here
What a
forever.
leader does. He inspires. But at some point, yeah, go ahead, Mac.
Paul and I talked about this. It's hard to believe it's been a year since the reunion, but Paul and I talked about this. And in the corporate civilian world, they talk about leadership, but they have no idea what it is. And I think that's why veterans can find themselves, if they apply themselves, they find themselves, having really good success, because there isn't a choice between leadership. You have to fucking lead. And things that come second nature to us, fucking civilians have no fucking clue. They're like, well, how do I motivate these people? Well, talk to them and find out what motivates them. And if what you're doing isn't doing it, then you need to change your style. It's not them, it's you.
Well,
Exactly.
but I am the manager. It says so on my nameplate.
Yeah. And I wore a fucking uniform that said fucking sergeant. But guess what? If I couldn't fucking talk the talk and walk the walk, fucking they wouldn't follow me.
Yes, but it says manager.
Yeah, I got it, Steve. Go back and fucking load the pallets, man.
Oh, okay.
Man.
But I manage the pallets.
Yeah, that's why you're going to be good at loading it, you fucking tool bag.
You manage to fuck it up every single day.
Kill yourself, Steve.
Oh, okay.
I messed it up.
Now, it's funny you brought up civilian culture versus military culture when it comes to leadership. I think what we've seen, and you can look it up, you can find, I mean, you can find vets that get paid a lot of money for having these corporate speeches and like talk throughs on how to lead and what it means to be a leader. And how does that change when you become like a first sergeant? Like, how do you influence and really take on? Do you find yourself being more as a motivational speaker to a larger audience? Like, or how do you get back to that lower level? Like, because now you have to step away.
Oh God, it's like you guys. I can tell. I can tell you guys right now. You wouldn't have recognized me, because the transition is quite different. there are guys that are the fire breathing dragon, and I mean I kind of was that fire breathing dragon for most of the time, and then every now and then I give you a cookie and tell you did a good job, but then I tell you not to be stupid. As a platoon sergeant, but as a first sergeant, you really you've still got to be that disciplinarian, but you can't be knee deep in platoon business, not and be successful. And that was a rough transition for me because I was comfortable being a platoon sergeant. I was like, fuck, I've done this job. I could do that again. And then when I realized that I was way too deep into platoon business, I was like, well, fuck, my job is 3 platoons in a headquarters. I can't be in platoon business. I was like, they got to do their friggin' job. And you really, it's a weird thing where you don't have those. You'll have one-on-one connections with some people, but it's a much broader leadership role where, yeah, you'll know everybody in your company, but you won't know them on that personal level that you could do with a smaller unit. And there's a lot more fucking management that comes to it. You can't worry about, all right, Joe Snuffy's having a bad day, so I'm going to take it easy on Joe Snuffy. You're like, no, man, I got 14 trucks that need to get fucking fixed, and you're the fucking wrench turner. So I don't give a fuck that your puppy died. Get out there and fucking turn wrenches. We'll talk about your dead puppy in your 5-minute break that I might give you because I want to go smoke with you and fucking ridicule you for your dead puppy. But I would never do that. No, I would totally do that.
I also definitely forgot cigarettes, so you're probably gonna get that smoke break, and I'm gonna need one.
I'm gonna need, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what you do. That's how you save money.
You're always gonna take from your lore enlisted.
Yeah,
that's how you grow your investment portfolio. That's right there.
Hey man, you got smoke? You got smoke? I don't know if you guys are smoking, but you got smoke for top. You got smoke for top.
Hey, how's it going there, good-looking guys? I see y'all out there by the smoke pit. Who's got an extra cigarette for top, huh? How about you?
Didn't he just skull drag this dude for calling him top, and now he's calling himself top? Yeah, that's good. Top wants something right now.
That's fine, baby. That's fine.
It's fine.
If you don't have an extra cigarette, though, I'm gonna need you to go bear crawl and to your car and get him. Yes.
Yes. And then we're gonna go down to Yellow River, and you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna like that.
But it's really, I mean, you do find yourself kind of like that. I don't even want to say it, but you find yourself like that football fucking coach that comes out and he's got to give the goods. Hey man, today we're gonna go do some stuff. We're in Hohenfelds and it's negative 1,000 degrees. I slept next to John Wayne last night. I know he's been dead for 50 years, but his cryogenic container apparently lost some pressure, so they brought him here because it's really cold. And I know half the trucks don't have heat, and the other half of the trucks have heat that works too good. So half the company is down with cold weather injuries, and the other half is down with hot weather injuries. But we got a hit time, and we're gonna do great things, and we're gonna hit this hit time like with a thing that hits. That's what we're gonna do.
We gotta do it, boys.
By the way, we're also under British control for this NATO exercise. And I don't speak British. I don't know where they learned their language, but it's not English. I'll tell you that.
Do we have an interpreter?
He is at 11.
Yeah. Oh, dude. You know what's funny is that actually comes from an actual thing. One of the rotations. By the way, it was a troop because I was a cavalry first sergeant. I was in the 2nd Cavalry Regiment. Which is an interesting thing. So yeah, Greg, I understand what you're talking about. Infantry and tankers.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's not though.
Oh, I also got to be the remedial PT NCO for the battalion. So
Well, of course, because
I
you
got
could
to
actually
stick
do
with the
PT.
worst one. Yes. I got to, at 3 o'clock on the dot every day, 1500, I had like 30 of the fattest people I've ever seen in my life. Oh, we're in there in the name. Yeah, all right, cool.
What are we gonna do today? Well, we're gonna run until you're not fat
First, we're
anymore
gonna
or you're
start
dead.
Can you walk to
Sergeant,
formation?
Sergeant, Greg, I'm still hungry. What should I do?
I actually had a guy say that once, and I told him to eat my dick. Get back to formation.
An appropriate response.
I don't know if I can
But the
do
question
PT.
is,
I'm
did he?
super hungry. I only had one lunch today. Well, you can eat my dick, or you can get back in formation. I'll get back in formation. All right, good.
Just
That's
locks
actually
eyes
totally
with
not how
you.
that happened.
Just locks eyes with you. I'm ready. Present.
Do you want me to do it in front of everyone?
Either that or when you're like, or get back in formation and he gets back in formation, you just kind of go, huh.
Really thought that'd go a different direction. I guess we're gonna be PT now.
I guess you're not that hungry.
So Mac, you did your full. Would you go over 20 or just hit 20 and you were done?
It was just under 22 actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I got paroled for early behavior. So.
when you're closing that chapter, and we've heard, we'll bring this back up for Greg and for Paul, but I think we've covered them. But I don't know if it's been on the ones we published. So we might hit this up. Like when you're leaving and you're like, you're done. This is it. Closing the book. Did you have like this feeling of like, shit, like what's my legacy? Like, what am I leaving behind? Like, did you have one of those moments where like, I need to engage with my guys one last time to like, let them know, like drop some sort of wisdom. Like, what was it like on the, like those last few moments of wearing the uniform?
I did find myself, because my last job, I was an instructor for the master leader course. So guys getting ready to be first sergeants and master sergeants. And in the last 6 months, before I went on terminal leave for forever, I did find myself having a lot more conversations with dudes, whether in the smoke pit or interjecting scenarios in the curriculum. And I was like, this is stuff that you're going to see. I was like, I want you to be better than I was when I fucking showed up. And they're like, hey, this is the guy in charge. And so I did kind of find a little bit of that in myself. But really my biggest thing was my own kind of self-doubt, as far as I was like, fuck man, I've been doing this for a long time and I've been really successful at it, but this is the only thing I've done.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, how am I going to make it out there? You can't walk into an office and be like, all right, faggots, listen up. We're going to go give this sales presentation and we're going to kick its ass. And anybody who doesn't kick its ass, I'm going to skull drug you through the parking lot. I was like, I know I can't do that. And I was like, how's the guy that drops the F-bomb every other word, going to talk to some fucking CEO?
Yeah.
So Mike, why are sales down? Well, because the fucking sellers can't fucking sell. That's why. A bunch of fucking idiots over there. I don't know where he picked up these assholes.
Need to fucking kill
and then
themselves.
He just looks at you with a shocked look like you just murdered somebody. You're like, I was like, oh shit. I mean, how am I gonna make this transition? But as far as legacy,
that's literally how we all talk to each other.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's one of the things I was like, wherever I find a job, there has to be at least one veteran, even if he's an Air Force guy, at least he'll be used to being ridiculed.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, as far as legacy goes, really, I've only ever wanted my legacy to be that the guys behind me were able to do my job and shit just kept going like I was never there. And I think that has been successful. I mean, just looking at least I'm gonna fucking take credit for it. You know, like a good senior NCO. But I mean, you look at some of the guys that we had in the platoon. I mean, they're out there just fucking rocking it, man. Either fucking, you know, they've moved on to civilian life, or they're still in the army and they're still fucking taking it to them every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like I love hearing about, like, on Facebook. I'm a troller, man. I just fucking troll through shit, and I like people's fucking things, and that's all I really do. And maybe if you have something really whimsical to say, I'll drop a comment, but that's like rarely. But I mean, that's really that's my legacy, is seeing those guys. Hey, I'm going to fucking Sergeant Major's Academy. I was like, I remember when he was a retarded private. I'm going to take some credit for that. You know, hey, I just took command as a first sergeant, or, you know, I just took over as a first sergeant. I'm like, I'm going to take some credit for that. Hopefully something that I said in one of my fucking incomprehensible fucking rantings, he, you know, helped him later in life.
Yeah, I know exactly what that means. Every time I see Greg's OnlyFans page grow up more popularity, I take credit for that. Like, countless hours spent trying
to retire, but
yeah,
I was trying to not tell you that because I don't need you to come after me trying to get money.
Hey, look, you know, at the end of the day, I'm proud of what we built. I mean, you built, and if I provided you with the guidance and how to, you know,
dude takes one picture and now he's magically the guy that created.
Okay. Look, I did a lot more. I did a lot more for that body, Greg, and we'll just have to cover that in a different podcast. Right now, agree to disagree. But
we'll take this offline.
Oh, you'll take this offline.
No, you will take it offline.
Paul, I know you had you got a really shitty like transition period, but what was it like for you on like that last, like, knowing when you were leaving? Like, did you like try to like have one more like meaningful conversation with somebody, or like leaving that little mark with any of your dudes before you left?
So I think a lot of it was weird, because when I got out, I was in a different platoon and I had different guys who were awesome guys. They didn't really feel like family, and I knew I was leaving them as soon as I got there. So I was kind of like, look, guys, like, this sucks for you.
My heart, you fuck.
Greg was one of those guys. No, like, and I tried to be real clear with those guys.
Raleigh, so we can go see an NC Chris show, and I'm fucking nothing to him.
Yikes!
I'm pretty sure that's after I was out.
It definitely was.
And I reached out more then, but I kind of wanted, and that was that really shitty event where you realize how replaceable you are. Because part of me really wanted to be back at first and see those guys. I was like, no, they have Fred Steve, they have different guys. That's not really my place. I liked the second platoon guys, and Gaither was really stepping up, but I didn't really know where that was going to go, and it was real clear that my opinion didn't matter. Like, they were going to put who they needed to put there, so that was fair too. So I just tried to walk away and not have a huge whatever. I went to some fucking party and got drunk and was stupid as shit, and like really regret that. But yeah, later I reached out to people and I tried to connect, but I was kind of like, oh, I was feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, this is gonna suck. But I really had no idea how, like, the next 30 days on terminal leave, I was depressed as shit, and probably for 3 months I didn't do anything. I wished I would have done more, but it was like, well, I don't really have the position or the place to say anything to these guys.
There you go, striking to my heart again. He did nothing.
It was like a year later we went to that concert, but yeah. And then
it was definitely before we deployed.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, so doing that was cool. And I went to college, and I just had no initiative to do a whole. I didn't even search for college hard. It was my laughable college application experience was like, hey, could I go here for free? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, cool, found a college. It was not good. But then I tried to kind of talk to guys, and I think then my mind changed, and I was like, man, I need to get my buddies ready for this part, because getting out is way harder than staying in. And then not to take away from anybody that did, because I mean, military wise, like, you know, deployments wise, yeah, you guys are doing a lot more risky stuff.
No.
Psychologically, so that setup, you're you can go downhill really fast, and yeah, I don't really know. You can end up in a lot of different areas if you're not careful.
100%. That's true to everybody that I know that has gotten out and didn't go through a process of I want to call it mental divorce or divorcing from the military, and then by the time you ETS, you've already addressed it. You've already found out you have a different identity other than just the military. But that's part of like being able to leave that legacy and like talk with your subordinates, talk with your guys one last time, sort of kind of like helps close the chapter, kind of close the book on that, because at least you can say, okay, well, I've done this, like, and I've done that at my every time I've ended a trip, and I know I'm not going to see these support kids anymore, because like in my job, it's different. It's different. Like it's very stable for, my guys come and go, get new guys in, but when I know that they're moving on, I always try to do that. If you call it like a out counseling, if you will, like you want to always let your guys know that like, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, like you will always be there for them. You're always going to be, at some level, you're still going to be, there for them. Come, a few years down the road, if you need anything, you're going to be accessible. And that's one thing as a leader, it's hard for us to come back and be able to do that if you've never, you don't finish out that chapter. And I think it's good to know, like, hey, for everybody out there, if you're in a leadership role, whether you're a junior NCO, friggin' corporal or whatnot, take your duties seriously, take your leadership role seriously, and understand the effect you have on your guys. Like, you're going to have a huge impact on them. These young 18, 19-year-old kids, like, you might be the only positive role model that they ever have. Like, that's a deep impact. If you're a shitty leader, they're going to remember that forever. They're going to get out, or worse, they're going to stay in and mimic what you did. Then our organizations are going to continuously have those shitty leaders.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then moving on. Now we get to the fun part. I think we've crushed Mac's legacy and leadership as he's rode it to the very tip top, left on a high note. Didn't end on a bad one, so that's good.
Yeah, I didn't get kicked out, which was that was amazing to me, considering my E4 self. I would have sworn that I would have been a chapter case.
I always thought you were gonna go out on cocaine and a male prostitute bender. Like I just always tune into the news.
Wow, that's weird.
Actually, under Obama, that bender would have gotten you promoted.
You're now Sergeant Major of the Army.
Yes.
Awesome.
Do you want to be a 5-star? Because you're about to be a 5-star.
On the highlight of the day, though, Greg, huge news. You're back in school. Like, you're fully enrolled, kicking ass, right?
Fully enrolled, fully erect.
Nice.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Agree.
Tell us a little bit about that, Greg. I think that this is something that a lot of people put off and are scared to do. Like, I think you can be today's inspirational veteran. Like, how did you come to the decision, and how do you feel about doing it now?
So I've spent years as a civilian being told that I was the perfect guy for the job, that I should definitely be the next plant manager, next fucking whatever, right? Because, hey, man, you know everything. You've got everybody's support and loyalty. You're fucking doing great. It's definitely you. But you're like, oh, yeah, here it comes. Like, you don't have a degree. Like, oh, yeah, that's what matters. So that's my driving factor. I'm tired of being told because I don't have a degree that I can't be in certain positions. or doing like the proxy leadership. I'm sure everyone's done that at some point where you've got the guy that's actually in the fucking position, but you're the one that's running it.
Yeah.
Doing everything. You're like, yeah, this is fun, isn't it? Enjoy your fat paycheck for sitting in your corner office. I love it. So don't be that guy that gets fucking stuck because of a piece of paper. That was my thing. So I finally decided to suck it up and enroll. And I mean, I'm only a few weeks in, but it's not bad. It feels good. It definitely feels good to be getting it done. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are scared, and
oh yeah, man, I've been scared of doing it for years now, and I don't know, it just kind of got to that point. Honestly, I'll be completely real with this one. If I get my degree, I will get promoted, and making upwards of $110,000 a year starting sounds pretty good. And then being told that I could potentially jump 2 positions just because I'm going to school and making, 130 plus a year also sounds really good. So I've got motivation.
Fuck yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah.
That's the hardest thing, I think, for anybody is really realizing that time behind the computer or sitting in a classroom is going to have a payoff.
Yeah.
I just recently re-enrolled in school as well.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to now I'm getting a degree in history, man. So it's everybody's like, well, do you want to be a teacher? I was like, no, I just want something that's going to keep me in the classroom.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I love history. I can tell you all sorts of shit about history. I'll have a piece of paper that says I can tell you about history.
Nice.
But
can we just become like park rangers together and work at Gettysburg?
Oh, dude, people would fucking learn shit that they never wanted to.
Yeah. I just want to avoid the weekends where they do the reenactments. I think I've covered that before in a podcast, but I'll rehash this. Civil War reenactments are literally the worst thing. Just the worst.
Well, yeah, it's LARPing with fucking muskets, dude.
Oh yeah, I can't say it enough, Greg. Like, super fucking proud of you. I'm getting back at it. I'm gonna finish out my degree again, and like I'm getting back into it, and it's just like fuck. Like, I stopped on going into my last big long school because I was like, well, I can't do this course and be in college. And then I put it off for an additional year going into deployment. I'm like, okay, it's time to get back in there. Education is something that we literally fought for, worked our asses for. Like, it's right there. And like, nothing should get in our way of being more successful. It's a piece of paper. I get it. But at the end of the day, like, if that piece of paper is going to make me more marketable and put more money in my bank account for my family to be better off, I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it.
Video games, of course.
It's a piece of paper also that fucking civilians understand very, very easily.
Yes.
You can show them a bunch of NCOERs that say you were the shit, 1 out of 1, fucking among the best, fucking promote head of peers, all this good shit, and they're gonna be like, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah.
And but you show them a college degree, and they're like, oh, this guy has a brain. He likes money.
All right.
I
like this guy.
I like this guy. What's your degree in? Botany. Yeah, I know nothing about botany, but that's awesome. You went to 4 years to learn about plants. Awesome. Has nothing to do with this job, but we have some plants in the office, so you'd be our go-to plant guy.
Perfect. I mean, not knowing what botany is, I'm pretty sure it's robotics. But that's
yes,
man's into robots.
Yeah. He's perfect for our IT position.
All of us get a pat on the back right now. And if you're listening, I'll stress it again. Like, us as in veteran service members, literally work our asses off for these benefits. Take advantage of them when you're in or when you get out. Take it serious. Don't let fear drive, your mentality. Take it on as another challenge. Like if you were in the military and you went to Ranger school, you went to friggin' whatever school, even bus driver school, you took on a challenge at some point and you fucking crushed it and you did great. Do it again. Keep doing it. Keep searching for those opportunities to get better, to kick shit into overdrive. And it feels good when you fucking get that adrenaline dump from like clicking on that little button. I enrolled. I fucking did it. If you need the resources.
To add to that,
yeah,
those
go ahead.
schools that you went to are worth credits.
Exactly.
They're worth credits. I mean, I wiped out a big chunk of my degree just by getting my military transcript submitted. It was like, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to take one elective. They're like all my free electives are taken care of.
Nice.
From, like going to a range.
Class, so that's
hell yeah. But I think we've gotten to the best part of the show. We usually do it in the front part of the show. We put it on the back burner, but here we go. Kill one, marry one, fuck one. It's back on. I've missed it. I know you've missed it. For this iteration, I've got a great one. For us. It's the Vision without the Mind Stone. So basically, he's just a dead body. MODOK. If you gotta search your memory banks for MODOK. He's the all-knowing brain entity with a little tiny body on that chair. And then Fat Thor.
Super fuckable, yeah.
Yeah, Fat Thor. So Paul, lead us.
This is a tough one.
I think I'm gonna kill MODOK just because he's annoying. I'll probably marry Fat Thor for his kingdom and money, and he's got concubines, so I can do what I gotta do. and then I'll fuck Vision, but I'll change his form to be anything I find more appealing. So yes.
How are you so good at this?
Breaking the system.
God damn it, man. All right, Mac, as our guest today, you can go second. Kill one, marry one, fuck one. The Vision without the Mind Stone, MODOK, and Fat Thor.
Well, oh man, wow. I have to agree with Paul. Definitely marry Fat Thor. Number one, I mean, he's already eating his feelings, so he won't require, a lot of stuff. So, that sounds like good marriage material right there.
He doesn't have a good sexual appetite.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, do you want to eat bonbons or you want to do it? And he's like, bonbons. And I'll be like, oh, okay, good. And good. Plus, I mean, you get to borrow his sweet ass hammer and go fucking, pound people with it. So
10 out of 10 would.
So are you worthy just by marrying him, though? I mean,
oh, absolutely. That shit fucking is in the prenup, dude. I get to carry your hammer, dude. Yeah. Be like, if you want all this, I was like, you better fucking lend that hammer on the weekends or something. We get like a fucking 50-50 share.
I'll oblige.
All right, here's some more bonbons. Go get on the couch. Okay. I hear the L word is on or fucking something.
Perfect.
Fucking. So I would probably go ahead and kill the Vision because you already said like he's pretty much dead without his Mind Stone anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of go ahead and gonna close that loop. I'll go ahead and kill him and just put him out of his misery. And then so MODOK, even though he's not he's not much, I'll throw it in it. I fucking was a private once, So I mean I've been worse. So.
All right, Gregory.
All right, so on all points of marrying Thor, I have to agree.
Yeah, I think yeah.
MODOK is gonna die because there's something I have to do. If it's Vision without the stone, I don't care about fucking him, but I do want to mushroom stamp him, and I want my dick to be the new stone. So
that's exactly. God damn it! Get out of my mind. That's the cavity I was gonna go for. Son of a bitch.
That's what I'm in for. Just a mushroom stamp vision. That's all I want.
God damn it.
Sorry.
No point. There's no point in
I'm
me
not-
going now. That's exactly all right. So yeah, mine was definitely fucking vision. Just I'm gonna use that cavity. Hopefully Wanda is still looking on in disgust. Like, no. I'm like, there's some residual power in here.
Whoa.
MODOK definitely killing him. Not because he's handicapped in that wheelchair, but just it's just a big fat face and those tiny like appendages. Just looks really weird. But yeah, Mary Fat Thor. He probably has low T, low sex drive, and there's tons of hot chicks there. It's sort of like a Marvel version of Joe Exotic, except you're kind of gay for the power of the All Father. Oh man, it's a great show today. I want to thank our actual sponsor, Blockbuster Video. Next time you want to do something with the family, make it a Blockbuster night.
Yeah.
That gets me every time.
At some point, someone's gonna hear this, and we are gonna get contacted. It's gonna make a
The guy
bounce
that
back.
actually owns Blockbuster is gonna be like, we're still a thing, right? You fuck.
Sure,
We're
yeah.
still in business, asshole.
Of course,
Sure
you
you
are.
are. Of course you are, Blockbuster. Thank you so much, Mac, for joining us for what I think was one of our most important podcasts. I think next week we're going to finally have an intervention with Gregory and his addiction to male porn. And that will also be a good one.
I'll be here next week.
I fucking love you guys. I absolutely cannot thank you all enough for being on here today. Especially Gregory, who's joining us all the way from work. Fucking badass. Man.
Yeah, super badass.
Hey, you committed
Are you
to
still
us.
in the trailer?
No. I'm actually sitting in a fucking shack right now.
The good old Jack Shack.
It's
Well, it is now.
got full size Windows 360, so yeah, it's definitely my Jack Shack.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is it for episode 007. Return of the Mac, the Mackening, MACKITY MAC. Thanks for tuning in. I hope our guest today, retired First Sergeant Mac, was able to drop some knowledge bombs on you and give you some insight of what it means to be a senior leader. He was, I stand by it. He was one of the most influential NCOs. He definitely helped mentor me and got me to my career, put me in the right path, and I know he did the same for Paul and Greg. So yeah, next time you got a moment, call your most influential NCO or senior officer. Let them know. It means a lot to them. Or don't. I don't care. Just look out for each other, especially the small ones. They need help. Tiny people. Bye.